Hi, I'm Deborah Gray, and I'm going to talk about 504 accommodations in college. In addition to writing about depression since 1995, and depression and other mental health issues since 1995, I also have worked at a major university since 2007. So I have picked up some things along the way about this topic. So the first thing to know about 504 accommodations in college, and I'm saying college, which obviously refers to college as well as universities, is that it's very different from the process that's used for the previous years. So there's no 504 plan developed. There's no 504 team like you might have had with elementary school, middle school, and high school. In other words, the principal, the counselor, one or two teachers, perhaps, maybe a psychologist, so also the chances are that there's really going to be little to no parental involvement. So your 504 plan does not transfer in any way to college, not even your records. But the thing is, Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act, as well as the American with Disabilities Act, does apply in different ways for making sure that individuals with disabilities are not discriminated against in post-secondary education, which is what the technical term for college or university is when you're talking about these types of IEPs, 504 plans. So, however, you will have a partner in this process in your schools. Well, it could vary a lot. There could be a disabled students program. There could be a disability services office. There could be one person if it's a very small school. It's going to vary a lot, and the amount of help that you can expect to receive is going to vary a lot. Even at large universities like the one I work at, the program is underfunded and understaffed and overwhelmed. So you, the student, are going to have to be pretty proactive. And this is also something that you might want to consider when you're looking at schools. If the severity of your disability affects your ability to participate in the educational process to a great extent, then the strength and level of involvement of the Disability Services Program, Services Office, or Disabled Students Program is going to be pretty important to you. So that's something you probably want to take into account when you're looking at schools. So if your accommodations are going to be fairly significant, let's say, for instance, that you're going to need pretty significant changes to how your understanding of a course is measured. In other words, the work that's used to give you a grade. If you have a service animal, if you need substantial accommodations for your residential situation, then you're going to want to contact the disabilities program at the school as soon as you have confirmed your acceptance of their acceptance. If you wait till like August or when you get to campus to start the process with them, especially if they're underfunded or understaffed, their busiest time is going to be August. And the next busiest time is probably going to be January when classes start up again. So you don't want to wait till the last minute because that's not going to help anyone. So be organized and be proactive. About parental involvement, there are some things that make it more difficult for parents to be involved. One is that there's a law called FERPA that protects that ensures that schools, universities protect the student's privacy. And so they're actually not allowed to give out certain information even to the parents. So it's likely that the student would need to give permission for the parents to be involved, first of all. Secondly, there could be a distance issue. And remember, this isn't like the previous years where there might be a team meeting with the parent, the student, the principal, the counselor, whoever else. There is no 504 plan meeting. So it's not as organized as that. So there isn't going to be any specific time you as a parent can come and talk to anyone. And again, this is something that has to be, that the kinks will have to be worked out every single semester for possibly every single course. I mean, again, it depends on your circumstances and what accommodations you need. The other thing is that this is really time they let go. This is a time when kids start taking care of themselves. And certainly one way that you can help to do that is if you get them involved, jumpstart their self-advocacy early by having them get involved with the 504 plan process as early as the later years of elementary school. So, obviously you need to talk to your child's psychologist or doctor and, people at, the 504 plan coordinator at your child's school. I'm talking about the lower schools. But it would be a good idea, if they approve, it would be a good idea to have your child start getting involved in the process, at age 11 or 12 at the latest. That way they understand the process. They understand the players, they understand, all the aspects of it. And they're going to be much more confident when they have to do this at college. As far as dealing with professors, first of all, remember, the professor does not have any right to know what your disability is. And you have no obligation to let them know what it is. They are allowed to know the accommodation that you need. Remember, especially if this is making a big change to how you're graded for their course, they could be resistant. They're not allowed to be resistant, but remember that this is the person who's going to be giving you a grade. So don't go talking to them like waving your copy of, the section 504. And saying, well, you have to do this for me. Just like anyone else, professors react better when you use honey instead of lemon or whatever it is. But so what you want to do is you want to tell them the accommodations you need. Now, in an ideal world, in an ideal campus, you would actually not need to do this. Your disability services program would contact them for you. But from my experience, as I said, sometimes they're underfunded, understaffed, and they're slammed at certain times of the year. And so if they're not, if time's a wasting and you really need to get this information to the professor so they can modify the program, then you probably are going to have to do this yourself. So be polite, be pleasant, acknowledge that this is an inconvenience for them, even if you don't think it is. Just, be polite and say, I understand that this is probably an inconvenience for you. And remember, they are susceptible to flattery also like anyone else. Use genuine flattery. Don't use fake flattery. So in other words, let's say you really want to take this course from them or take this course and they're the only one who teaches it. Make that clear. Say, I understand the trouble I'm putting you to, but I really want to take this course from you, or, I really want to take this course, and talk a little bit about why. Hopefully this is not just a gateway course that you have to take. But so if you find that you're not getting help from the professor and that they're really resistant, just be pleasant, but then go back to the Disability Services office and tell them, listen, here's the situation. I'm not having any luck. And hopefully they won't go all medieval on the professor on your behalf. Actually, ask them not to. But, they probably know politely how to make it clear to the professor that this is something that the school legally has to do. And they may be good at flattery too, hopefully. Considering the number of younger people with anxiety and depression already, and the fact that that number is rising, they are going to have to deal with this. So I hope this video has been useful, and if it has, please consider giving it a thumbs up and subscribing. And if you have any comments on 504 plans at college, or anything helpful, any tips you can give other people, you could leave it in the comments below. That would be fantastic. Anyway, thanks for watching. Take care. So here's a story as to why you do not want to wait to talk to both the Disabilities Services program at college and each professor. When I was working in geography, we got a call during exam week from a student who said, I can't take the exam tomorrow because I'm having a panic attack. So I talked to the professor. The professor had no idea that the student even had an anxiety disorder. This was not the way to do it, obviously. The way to do it is to let everyone involved know ahead of time. It might also involve, if you're working with GSIs, you might also want to let the GSIs know that you have certain accommodations. There's probably a pretty good chance that they'll need to know.